Beep beep. Okay. I suggest that everyone have a piece of paper and something to write with.
I do.
Look at you, being all prepared. Okay. Let me move this out of the way.
That's really cool. Oh.
I hit a barrier. Okay. All right. Yesterday, what did we say we were going to do with this thesis statement?
We're gonna
Change it.
Expand it. 6 points.
We're going to do what?
We're gonna add those 6 points
We're going to add these to what word?
to complexity.
Complexity. Because we're making a stellar thesis statement, right?
We just call it a thesis paragraph.
It is a thesis statement. Okay. And this is what you should expect from any AP course. This is a thesis statement. This will be when we're done. Not what we have. But do you remember how we got to this? We wrote a simple statement, and then we used the word, and then we decided what we were going to put into this and how we were going to break this down. What paragraphs do we want to use, right? Once we decided that, we can go back and adjust our thesis statement. Please do not feel like when you write a thesis statement that it's done, because most likely it's not. You're going to have to go in and adjust it. The way we're setting this up is just an easy way to give yourself a strong thesis statement. Okay, it's just an easy way to take away some of that pressure of, oh my gosh, it has to be perfect and I have to come up with it in my head right this second. No, write out a thesis statement. Write out what you're trying to say, and then break down what you're going to put into it, and then take that information and then put it into your thesis statement. Okay, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. All right. So.
Wow, your name writes down.
That's your own fault. You really just snuffed that complexity word out.
Didn't I? Because we are extrapolating on that.
So do they like ignore the non-sentences?
This is not a run-on sentence.
It's not?
No.
Oh. I'm always afraid of writing those.
I know, and most people are, which is why you guys always give me short, choppy sentences. But what I like to do is try to teach you how to write a long sentence that's not a run-on sentence. You need a subject and a verb, and it needs to be all in the same thought. And as long as it's all in the same thought, you're fine. It's when you put a couple thoughts together and you string them and make them one long sentence without putting a period. That's a run-on. Okay.
Change in.
Just because it has a lot of words doesn't make it a run-on sentence. Emotional. We don't want to just say emotional. What do we want to add there?
Hardships.
There you go. Good work.
Okay. You should get a gold star.
Emotional hardships. Oops. Hold on. And emotional hardships.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I started writing in cursive.
It's okay. I'm sure I'll be able to.
Sorry, Joe. I was trying to hang in there.
Oh, I'm not.
I started
Didn't get
well.
very far.
I'm just writing all that stuff
When?
and doing the rest of it.
Okay.
I'm not
just being
looking at it
rude.
all.
All right. So there is our thesis statement.
I'm feeling sick.
I'm getting ready to erase the other stuff, Joe. You have it?
Not yet.
Because I need in that room.
I will try to move that a little bit.
Go right down that.
See the whole screen.
Okay, cool. I am sure that your classmate appreciates it.
Can we write
You
conclusion?
better call. Do what?
Can we write?
I bet you're in the video
No.
right now. Secretary.
Sometimes those smart kids, you know. Are we good, Joe? Can I erase?
It was a bad day yesterday, and you're trying to make this a bad day too, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we did a good job starting with it. Do you like our thesis statement?
Oh, I love it. It's beautiful.
Okay.
So purple.
It's so purple. It's because it's Valentine's Day.
That's
We
what
have to
they're
use
grading off
But-
is the color.
But purple.
I'm just kidding.
When does purple come into
So we
balance?
use both. Well, you can squeeze purple in there. It's a form of pink anyway.
I'm just kidding. I'm not a big Valentine's Day person.
I heard this thing on the radio where guys go wrong getting their significant other something because they go for bright colors like blue and yellow instead of darker, deeper romantic colors.
I just
I
think
didn't know
you
that.
should treat each other with respect and kindness and do nice things for each other all year. Not one day a year.
No, I'm not saying that.
No,
I'm
No,
saying
it's 2 days a
like
year. It's
roses.
Christmas.
It's fair. Like, I don't think it's just, I don't know.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
commercialized. I have an issue with it.
Everything's
Like my husband's sweet to me all year.
4
Which is
days.
good. One day I would not get paid one day a year. It's just not alright.
So you would use.
I treat my mom good all year.
Do what?
So you use
Okay, so this is my thesis statement. Right here.
Every day.
Alright, so you guys have this? This is our thesis statement. Good news is we are able to just use one sentence for a thesis statement here. We have combined it to where it is one sentence. Social structures changed dramatically in African Americas due to new social classes, economic changes, changes in needs, depopulation, and emotional hardships of the slave trade between 1415 and 1815. Now, would you have ever thought we could have come up with something so stellar?
No.
Look what you all
Because
did.
we didn't. You did.
I didn't do that.
No, we all did this together because you all gave me these in the middle, right?
Sure.
You are the ones who came up with that, so you came up with this statement.
Way to
Okay.
keep us motivated this long.
I
Okay.
did. I said hardships.
You said, see, you did contribute. Okay, so, all right, so here is our introduction. Our first sentence of our introduction. After this, we might discuss, we might say something like, you know, you might use a quote from somebody out of one of your documents or something and say something along the lines of, let's see, several authors, kings, images, conversations have all contributed to the facts that the slave trade was very complex and there were a lot of consequences due to what went on there. You might just add something along the lines of that toward the end. Okay? Telling you.
Yeah.
It's okay, you take AP Lit and this is all we do. Pretty much, we
I
read
don't
too.
think I'm gonna take it.
But I'm telling you, be ready for college.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so we have our introduction. We're gonna put this as our introduction.
Do
We
you
know
have to
what
do
that
all
is.
this at architecture school?
Huh?
Do you have to do all this at architecture school?
If you're going to college, you have to take an English class, which means you have to write. It's a thing. Sorry. Alright, so what is our first one we want to talk about? New social classes. Alright, so what about these new social classes? Somebody tell me something about them. If you have to go back and look at some of your stuff.
They're slaves in the lower class.
So there are slaves throughout classes, or
There's a greater population. There's a greater lower
The lower class is greater because of slaves.
So an increase in lower class.
It's being made up of different ethnic
Greater.
disciplines.
because of slaves, which document tells me this? What document? Back it up.
The one they were scared of. Document 2.
Document 2.
Yeah.
Alright, we want to back up. Any statement we say, we have to back it up. We don't just give a statement.
Every time while we're writing.
We want to back it up.
I'm just trying to.
It says something also about like mulattoes and mestizos, so it's like mixed
Yeah, different
ethnicities
ethnicities.
too,
Okay.
which creates
Mixed
more lower
classes.
classes.
There were many mixed classes. What document?
Document
2.
2.
Alright, what else?
Well, the lowest class was not happy.
Okay. Does that tell me about new
They were
social
mistreated.
classes?
No.
Okay, so right now we're just in new social classes.
Could you say that
It doesn't have to be a long
they had
paragraph.
a different opinion of people because of the slaves, like of the lower classes? Maybe?
What do you mean?
Like they saw them more as not people, but like kind of put them in a separate group.
Okay, so they were more
I don't know.
property? Is that what you mean?
Sort of, but like they saw them differently. They didn't really see them as like another class. They kind of saw them as maybe even lower than.
Like
what-
the
Okay.
untouchables.
Yeah, kind of like the Untouchables, but kind of like their own. I don't know how to
Okay.
explain that.
Completely separate from society.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw in some words here that we could use in our statements to back this up. What's another one?
Mestizos.
Okay. And then, let's see. What, that, like they were
Yeah.
beneath the actual social classes? We definitely see this in document 7, right? In our last one with the picture. What else do we see that in possibly?
The Romans.
Which one?
The Romans. I don't know, they had slaves. What did you ask? I'm on.
Document.
Oh.
Document 6?
No, I thought she asked like what other time period
No, I mean
did
what
they
other,
have.
what
I'm
other
sorry.
document? It's
I
okay.
was writing when you were talking.
Sorry, I'm going everybody's way here.
Document 1.
Document 1? Good. Okay.
In document 1, it says that the Christians are not allowed to be forced to do the work because they were freed because they were once indentured. That's just side information. But the Christians were in lower classes, but since the emperor freed them, they were above the slaves.
Okay. So, okay. Which document was that?
Document 1.
I'm gonna let you guys get all that down.
So what happens if the slaves converted to Christianity? Were they just not allowed to?
No, they could. They just didn't
It
a lot
kind
of
of
times.
displays in Doc 1 that if they did, they'd be freed because he already said whoever converts is freed.
Yes.
Yeah, but that was more like the native people. It didn't really say anything about the people that they were bringing over.
Natives who have become
Do you think it was just
Christians
because
are
they
not
didn't speak their language, so they didn't know what the heck they were talking about?
Yeah, I think you have a lot of communication differences. Kind of hard to talk about. Talk to one another when you don't speak the same language.
Right.
Okay. Is what we're doing making sense here? Do you see how we're coming up with an excellent essay the way
So,
we're doing this?
We're supposed to do all this in 15 minutes.
No, an hour. You have roughly an hour.
15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance.
Stop it.
I might do that during the test.
I'm done with life.
No, and don't worry, we're gonna do a lot more practice. Fourth quarter, guys, we spend most of fourth quarter getting ready for this test. So although you don't feel super prepared right now, by fourth quarter, you will feel a lot better. Okay, we'll do lots of practice tests. Hopefully they'll be releasing some more practice tests because last year I had lots of them. I don't have that many this year because it's a new test. And it's new to me as well. So, sorry. I know. AP Lit, I feel like I know exactly what to prepare people for. This class is kind of like, hey, let's see what we can do. Okay, so does everyone have this part?
Yes.
So let's go to paragraph 3.
You can buy this race out if you want to, but number 2.
All right. Is that visible for Kyle?
Looks like it.
Will he be able to see all that?
I
Okay.
think so.
All right, Kyle. If not, get with someone. That's the whole thing. I don't want anyone to miss this. This is all really important stuff.
It's kind of cool though that we don't have to worry about the information anymore because we have so much of it that we don't realize. We're just figuring out how to use what we know.
That's why I wait. I can't really do this first quarter because you don't know anything.
Yeah, we're trying to learn as we're trying to learn how to do this.
Yeah, it's just too hard. Okay, paragraph 3. Yeah, now we're just taking our information we know and applying it. All right, paragraph 3 is economic changes. Okay, good. So what kind of economic changes do we have?
Well, Africa really benefited from it because they were getting to sell their own people so that they didn't lose.
Right.
Win-win for them.
Get rid of enemy farms.
It kept their lower classes low, free from the oats and stuff.
All right, which document backs up that Africa benefited?
You could really.
You could say the one with the king.
Document 3.
You could say document
Document
7.
7.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't remember.
Document
Yeah,
3,
document 7 and document 6.
7, 6. I know those aren't in order. I'm sorry, that really bothers me, but I just rattled them off. I wrote them down.
It's fine. So window open before it's over.
It is open. We're getting some fresh air in here.
That's good.
Okay.
Sweating.
Yeah. Hopefully this is helping. Okay. All right. What else? Who else benefited? I mean, obviously they benefited. So as we talk about this, we'll be able to say, and we will say, King. What's his name?
Alfonso.
King Alfonso discusses. King Alfonso discusses how he, in order to benefit economically, he just would kill the king and take over that property of the slaves and sell them. So that is how you would talk about that. Okay? You would say, King Alfonso stated that he would just go ahead and kill the kings and take over their property. That's how they benefited economically. We're not going to say in document 7, 8, and, we're going to talk about who said what. We're backing up our information with facts, direct facts. Okay. All right. So, how did the Americas benefit?
They got more people to do the work and they didn't have to pay them because they were slaves.
They got a bunch of money.
Documents what?
1.
Oh, that is the only one, isn't it?
4.
Because one of them is going to talk about how it hurt them, right? No, but it's talking about depopulation, so we're good.
Oh.
1 and 4?
It kind of talks about that coffee and sugar went to Europe from fees,
Okay.
so that's probably 1.
Okay. That's pretty good, right? I mean, I think that's solid. These paragraphs don't have to be a mile long. You just need to make sure you have information for each one, enough to back it up. And if you actually wrote that out,
It would get long.
it would actually be pretty long. Okay?
Because you'd have to, obviously discuss each of the.
You're going to have to discuss each one of these. Now, my thought is that we don't necessarily have to go over these that thoroughly because hopefully you all know how to write a sentence.
Miss Law, when it's, you have to reference the documents in the essay, right?
Yes.
Do you say according to document 1?
No, according to Alfonso, King Alfonso.
Since I say where the
Okay, since it has who wrote it, you know, or in the letter to King, in the letter to the King of Portugal. In that letter, it discusses, and so you would go into that information. Because I believe I had asked the question on my group of the people that grade the essays, and they said, don't say document, say who it was. Because I specifically asked them to make sure that we were not doing that incorrectly. Because last year I told them to reference documents. Apparently I was wrong. We don't want to do that. Okay. So do we have that up there? Can Kyle see that too? Kyle, can you see it?
Yeah, if he pauses it.
If he pauses it? Alright.
He's probably gonna have to pause and.
Right. pause
Cool,
it.
as long as he can do that. Okay. The good thing is you guys will have all of these on YouTube if you so want to go back and re-look at any of this. Because I have every day taped now. Alright. I've not watched them, so I have no idea how bad they are.
They're fine.
Okay.
Of course, Sarah would tell you that.
Of course she would. Changes in needs. Because she's nice.
She's like,
I would expect honesty from you.
Wouldn't it be
and
4?
Jen.
Yeah.
Yes, it would be. Thank you for helping me count.
you help us with words.
I'm so glad. We'll help each other out.
Is that an A or a 4?
It's a 4.
It's an
Oh.
A.
It's a 4. English is not your subject, is it?
No, it's
That's
not
not-
the subject at all.
Yeah, I hate English.
English loves you.
God love you.
On this one, couldn't we say like the roles changed because the Christians couldn't work any longer?
Okay.
And that would be document 1.
So they need more slaves.
Which document?
1.
Okay. There was one that we specifically thought about when we wrote this down. And no, that was depopulation.
The role of carrying stuff.
Do what?
They carried stuff for people.
What do you mean?
People,
I have one, I have the division of labor, how that changed in document 1. And I think that's kind of what she was saying. You have a change in the division of labor. And that's what I have written down for document 1.
You can kind of discuss like how it talks about in document 4 and how they see coffee and sugar as kind of more essential as needs.
Oh.
And so like the produce and stuff, like the things that they eat and stuff are becoming more essential. I know, but they're still using they're still using slaves too. I know, but they're seeing it as more than like.
Which document was that?
That was
Can I get it to you next hour?
Yeah, I just want to
All right.
remind you about it. 'cause it could
I'm
be
glad you
working
did,
on
I forgot. Okay,
it was 4.
alright.
Can you play Warhorse in the background?
I need a list of my rap kids.
Why though?
had them somewhere.
Well, if you want this to-
Let's go to the office again. Okay. So we've got our changes and needs. Visible?
Yes.
Could you also talk about how
Abby, did
money
someone
is
break your heart?
becoming more of a need too?
Okay.
How what is?
Money.
Money?
Well, that would
Yeah.
go with economics.
You can talk about how just in general, and you could just make that a general
A
statement.
general point?
That could be just a general point.
Okay,
You would not have to back that up.
okay.
That could just be a general overall point. And you'll probably have several general statements that apply to several documents,
Where
In
would you
there.
place those?
which is fine. Probably at the beginning or the end. Either like as a topic sentence for that paragraph or at the end.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll have several generic. And guys, guess what? If you don't get all of this down, that's okay.
YouTube.
No, I mean, let's say you're writing your essay out and you don't have a lot of time and you're going through and you're writing all this out. It is going to be obvious that you know what you're talking about if you only get 2 or 3 of these points out and they're very lengthy and very well explained. You're going to get credit for doing something right. The good thing is they will give you credit for doing something right.
So if you don't get finished with it, but you're on the right track, they won't just count it completely wrong.
Right, they're gonna be like, okay, clearly at the end here they just hurried up and finished because they had a lot they could have said. Okay.
Do they
Okay.
see our outlines and stuff?
Anything, yeah, they'll see all of your stuff.
So they'll
Thank
see
you.
that we
That-
had more
that-
going,
yeah.
it just didn't
Have
get
time.
on the paper.
So they point you for your outline?
Do what?
Will they put?
No.
points for you?
They will not give you points for your outline.
Can I make a joke on there?
Probably not. Probably not. Sorry. Okay. Depopulation, that was just in one document, wasn't it?
It was in
Oh.
a few.
Yeah, it was
It
in
was in a
like,
few.
Was it?
yeah, it was in,
Yeah.
there's
Document
depopulation in
3
document 3 and
and
document 4.
Document 4,
Is it
document
about the one where the
5.
king was talking about it, one where the
In
collector was
document
talking about it?
1,
Yeah,
you could
you're
even
right.
say,
Okay. So you have depopulation.
We're on 5. Okay. That kind of looks like a B.
that is a B.
That's a 5.
Joe.
A little carried away there. All right. Depopulation.
Someone had too much coffee.
Africa is. Woo!
Whoa. Is it a party?
Oh wow! All right. Africa is.
Can I just put the demand for slaves because it was so fast?
And then. Okay, so Africa is depopulated due to the number of slaves leaving. America is depopulated due to the movement of the Amerindians.
And need for places for
That's
crops.
document 3, 4,
And
and
what?
5.
And need for places for crops.
Yes.
Land.
We'll just put for the land. All right, and what document were these?
3, 4, and 5. And then that one is
This was just in one of them.
4.
And 1.
Was it talked about in one?
Well, kind of. They talk about that once the Indians became Christians, that they were freed, which means the farms were depopulated, which means that the slaves had to come over.
That's kind of a stretch in my.
Yeah, I think so. I think it would take a lot for you to explain that. Does you know what I'm saying? I
I
think
just say, Merrick Whitecobb said this.
Whitcomb?
Whitcomb. But that wouldn't be depopulation. That would be population, right? Because you're bringing over slaves.
Well, you could say that the farms and the plantations were depopulated because the natives converted.
So they weren't using them anymore. Okay, I see you.
That's rude.
It kind of makes sense.
You were Were you?
I will.
I know a lot of people's names.
You don't even know my name.
Oh, that's Kish.
White Gale.
All right.
Quiet Gale.
Now we just need
You don't answer.
our last one, the emotional hardships, which is going to cover several documents.
What is it?
This is what I'm going to do. Your outlines that you have
Mm-hmm.
for your test. And this is for your betterment, not to just me be me. I'm not going to curve your test. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let you write these essays, not here, just like on your own or over the weekend. We have a 4-day weekend. And I'm going to let you turn those in as bonus for your test. That way it serves as two purposes. One, it's making you write an essay that we need to write anyway. And since we don't really have time to do it in class, that's going to give us time to get that done. And then I can give you guys bonus on your test.
So you
Okay.
want to start an
But
essay
I'm-
with this outline?
I want you to write the essay with the outline. So basically, I'm giving you the outline. I'm just having you write this essay out. You have the outline. It should be really easy. That's what I'm saying. It should be easy. You have the outline. All you have to do is write the essay.
So when it's
So we'll have that due Tuesday. I'm going to give you all weekend to do it.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
That sounds good.
Sound good?
Yes.
All right. Give you all weekend to do it.
Well, I'll do it.
Does everybody have this?
I'm gonna do it Friday.
No, you're not. You're going to do it Monday night.
Tuesday morning.
That'd be hard pressed to do Tuesday morning.
It's not that hard.
Considering it's probably going to be good several pages long. Yeah, I think
Several
so.
pages.
I'm gonna be doing nothing.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on how much bonus you want.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right.
Oh.
Your bonus points are going to be based on your effort you give me.
I'm done.
If you just hand me the outline, it'll be hard to give you anything. All right. Emotional hardships.
What if I move all these words onto a paper without bullet points?
They're not sentences. All right. Emotional hardships.
They were given
That's my word.
little food. They fell sick. And
They were
most of them
whipped.
died.
Hey, though.
Not like cream though, like with the whip.
Given little food. And
Worked too
They
hard.
fall sick.
Fall sick.
No, that's what it says. They fall sick.
Try fell.
can't do it. Can't write fold. All right.
That's what they said.
Documents what?
Doc
7.
1. They worked hard.
What about document 2 where it talks about the worry about them? Even the leaders had emotional hardships, right? Not just the people. Even the leaders had some emotional hardships.
You got me.
I know. Look at me thinking.
Oh,
Thinking
I'm
outside
sorry.
the box.
It's
Emotional
Wanda.
hardships.
Do you just hear that? Say that again.
I just said that, okay? Said what?
Thinking outside
What
the
did I
box.
just say?
It's
Thinking
good.
outside the box.
Oh,
I don't get it.
You weren't there.
I was
Comes to
Sick.
scholar bowl meet. I
I
don't
was-
know. ACT, you're good.
Oh, okay.
You had a reason.
I made 2 in a row.
Just messing with you. Okay.
I'll tell you later.
Document 2. He is worried about the
lower
slaves
classes
taking
rising
over,
and
right?
revolting.
I need Kyle here. He always stuck up for me.
And
He
in
did.
period 5, we're gonna learn about the ultimate slave
Could you
revolt.
also say document
Oh,
6
that
because
one's
he talks about how, like, he's selling them right away so that way he doesn't have to deal
I'm
with
writing
the
leaders
Navy
were
revolting against him.
Why do I write peasant revolts?
And the first statement would also work for document 5.
What document was this?
6.
6. All right. And what did you say this one here?
It would also work for 5.
Uh-huh.
Because 5 is talking about how, like, the traffic of people and how bad it is on the ships and stuff like that.
There's one in here that talks about like taking them away from their families and stuff. That
Okay.
would be document 3.
And you can also talk about how hard they worked. Which is
Do you need more paper?
What do you mean how hard they worked?
like that they were in chains and that they worked all day and barely
Okay.
got downtime.
And I'm willing
We
to
can say that,
Oh, I already had that written down. I was about to write that down.
All right.
Who? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
So do you guys have a nice, good page and a half of just an outline?
Yes, ma'am.
A little
Maybe
more
2?
than that.
Okay.
I'm still writing though.
You're still writing this? Okay. What are we going to do in our last one?
Conclusion.
Conclusion. What can we do to get our synthesis point? Remember I told you had to
You
add
state
something.
We can
No,
bring
What can we
something up from another time.
Let's bring something up from another time period.
Yeah,
What can we
that
bring
one.
in?
we can.
What can we compare it to? You did it earlier.
The
Give it to me.
Romans.
The Romans.
They had slaves.
There you go. So we can compare this to the Romans and their slaves, right?
Yeah.
Bringing in a different time period. We can throw that in maybe right before our conclusion or in our conclusion. Throw in something that has to do with like the Romans, or if we want to do social, we can compare it to the Hindu caste system,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So we have several things that we can compare this to. Or economically, the trade on the silk trade route via, versus
Or like the
trade
Indian
of people. I mean,
Could you also
Yeah.
talk about the Mongols
Wasn't there
kind of
slavery in
thing of,
Ireland
like,
too? There was like a time period for the
Okay. But I mean, yeah, there are several things we can add in here as our additional point, right?
Well,
Could you do something like how the Indian Ocean would like lead to something like this, or like would that be different than that?
Give me a little bit more.
Trade,
Oh,
you
that's
know,
what I
like
was gonna say.
how something like that could lead to
So how the
How
Indian
it
Ocean
evolved.
trade could lead to a desire for more trade.
yeah.
Yes.
And that could evolve
Um,
to trade of people.
Talk about the Indian Ocean trade and how they traded, and then talk about evolving into this. Yes.
Would it work to talk about the Mongols because like how they accepted Christianity but they didn't accept other people? Kind of like they accepted them to convert to Christianity but didn't really accept when they didn't. Do you know what I
The
mean?
document
Right,
said
so
it
kind of-
accepted the natives that converted.
Right. So that's what she's saying. She's saying talking about people converting to Christianity and how both the Mongols and the Europeans
Yeah.
both were accepting of European or of Christian converts. So yeah, I mean, you could discuss that. And it probably also depended on what continent you were in.
Could you talk about the future?
No.
Like
We're comparing history, Joe.
what? Like our history, their future. Right.
Give me an example.
In
Like
between
how
that time
the
period.
slaves in that time, in our country, later the Civil War was fought over slavery.
Yes, you can.
Just like the Haitian
Yes, it doesn't have to
Revolution.
go backwards. It can go forwards.
That's what I was like. There.
It's all our history. So as long as you're comparing history, you're good.
Okay.
But can we read into the future and say what's going to happen? No. But if you want to take like the revolts, and we're going to talk about revolts. We're going to compare and contrast the French Revolution, the American Revolution, and the Haitian Revolution. And we're going to write an essay of that because they're all three different. Yes.
So our synthesis has to be our conclusion.
It doesn't have to be. It needs to be somewhere within your documents. It can be anywhere. Wherever you find it, that it can fit. It depends on what the synthesis point you're trying to throw in there as to where you're going to put it. Okay, if you're talking about emotional hardships and that's where your synthesis is going to be, you're going to want to add it to the emotional hardships.
How do you state that, like, make it obvious that that's your synthesis?
It's going to be obvious because it's going to be about a totally different time period or something completely that has nothing to do with anything in there.
Do you have to put the date,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna. So you have to mention the date of when that
like
happened.
the one you're talking about, instead of?
No, you can say like during Roman rule,
Okay.
during the Roman Empire.
Is that probably what remember the date is?
Yeah. You're good. Everybody have this? Okay. Bye, Kyle. You can hit stop.
Bye, Kyle.
See you, Kyle.